character. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Hey guys, Alex and Dad from 7th Hour Films back again with Doctor Who. Last time around, we had The Angels Take Manhattan. What was that one about?
Well, the Weeping Angels came in. They apparently were building some kind of gigantic battery collecting the lives of people in Manhattan to allow them to keep going forever and ever. And of course, the whole thing was they sent people to the past and then used up their life. I don't know. It was all very complicated. But they took Rory, and Rory thought that he could change the future if he would jump off the big building. Amy said, what if it doesn't work? I don't want to be here without you. So they both jumped off, and it seemed to be effective, but apparently it did not. And so the doctor basically said he had to say goodbye to Amy and Rory, and so the Ponds are now gone forever.
Yeah, so yeah, that was pretty much it. It is now the end of Amy and Rory for good this time. No more of them. And now it's Christmas.
In March.
Yeah, but it is Christmas. We have a Christmas episode today. It's great timing because, as you said, it is the middle of March when we're recording this. This will probably go up in April when the video goes out. It's also especially perfect because it's a high of 100 degrees today. So I may have this hat on, but I do also have my shorts. I can't really pull my legs up, though.
Okay, and you have to understand, on Monday, just 4 days ago, the low temperature that morning was 22 degrees Fahrenheit. Today it's supposed to reach 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So, 78 degree temperature change in the same week. We joke around here that when Mother Nature says you can't have all 4 seasons in 1 week, Oklahoma says, hold my beer.
Well, yeah. So yeah. And I'm wearing this because it's Christmas, and we have to... for some reason, I've decided I have to wear this Santa hat every time we watch a Christmas episode, which is great because Season 7 has multiple Christmas episodes, namely this one. We already had the one with the Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe. Now we have this one. We'll have another one at the end of the season. So yeah, this is unnumbered. This is an official episode. It is important to the plot, and it is necessary. But it's not episode 6 of this season.
Now, does it take place at Christmas time?
Yes.
But it didn't air at Christmas time.
Well, it did. Oh. It did air at Christmas. So okay. They aired the first 5 episodes of this season in probably October, November of 2012. Then they took a little break. This episode aired on Christmas. Then they took a little more break, maybe just like a month or two, and then they continued on with episode 6, which is called The Bells of St. John. And then that ran through for a couple months, all the way to episode 13. Then they stopped, and then on November the 23rd of 2013 was when they put up the 50th, and then a month later they put up another Christmas special. So,
okay.
Yeah, Season 7 is a little complicated that way. I'm not entirely sure why they decided to do it like this, but yeah, it's the middle of the season. We're on an unnumbered Christmas episode, and we're starting a new plot line. So,
okay. Now I see the title is called The Snowmen, and I just vaguely had a flashback. Didn't the second Doctor meet the abominable snowmen in the Himalayas or something?
Kinda. Yeah, there's the Yetis and everything.
But they were like robotic Yetis.
Yeah, and then those also came back in the London Underground episodes with the Yetis in the Underground, and that's the first appearance
of the Brigadier.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, although at the time he wasn't yet the Brigadier, but he was Lethbridge Stewart. So yeah, That is about the time. They were technically Yetis, mechanical, abominable snowmen thing, so, yeah.
I'm guessing this is more like what were they when we introduced Tennant, the they were autons or something, but they were dressed up in the
Yeah.
Christmas and playing the musical instruments and everything.
Yeah, there was something like that. It's an interesting thing.
Okay.
So this whole episode, we'll get into it afterwards, but this is a strange episode for a couple reasons. So, do you got anything else?
I got nothing. Other than, for those of you who have been watching this straight through, we've got everything moved into the new theater. Got 90% of everything moved out to our shed that we need to. The demolition has started. They've taken down a whole lot of stuff in what we would think of as the rafters. They're going to demolish what used to be the old kitchen area, and that's going to be our new rehearsal room. And when on top of all of this, next Saturday, 1 week from today, I've got auditions for The Three Musketeers, which is a script I helped to co-write.
At a different place, by the way.
A different place, yes.
So the next time actually that we record, not that it will really matter to you guys because it'll still go up on the same day and we'll probably still be exactly the same as we always are, but we'll just be recording that like on a Monday or a Friday or something. So, but yeah.
And I'm seeing Oswin.
Yeah, in a cosmic sort of way. Yeah. So
For those of you, because it's not up on the screen, but the episode selection thing always comes up before we start, and it's got the actress who played Oswald a couple of episodes back.
yeah, so which people did correct us on it. I don't know if we said, but she was already cast for these episodes, but they decided, hey, let's bring her in early on Asylum of the Daleks, and so they did that. It wasn't that they brought her in, liked her, and then cast her later.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it was
remember
all
reading
planned
that,
out. Yeah. So it was all planned out, and now we get to see what they actually had plans for. So with that said,
With that being said,
we might as well just jump right into this Christmas special of Doctor Who. Here we go. Oh
no.
gosh. It's terrifying.
1842. This is Charles Dickens' time. This is the year before he wrote A Christmas
Walter,
Carol.
don't you want to go and play with the other boys and girls? They're very
It's-
nice.
It's Damien from The Omen.
Eh,
He never talks to anyone. He's so alone. It's not right.
Well, they just haven't invented video games yet. He'll be okay.
With the old stovepipe hat there. No, seriously, this kid looks like Damien from the
That's
original
silly.
Omen.
That's silly. Don't need anyone else.
Dad,
I can help you.
is that Ian McKellen?
I think yes. I think someone said that is Ian McKellen, and that's Richard E. Grant. So I don't know why. I don't know if they credit him at all, but he is the voice of the Evil Snow.
This is the animated Doctor.
Yeah. But it's a different character today.
I promised to feed them.
Beg pardon, Dr. Simeon. It's been a long day. I don't see any food here.
I do.
Oh, you are the food.
I said I'd feed you. I didn't say who to.
Rose and Crown. Again, if this is 1843,
Well, this is 50 years later.
50 years later. All right. So this is late Victorian. Hello, Clara. Oswin, whoever you are. It's very Nightmare Before Christmas.
Maybe it remembers how to make snowmen.
What? Snow that can remember? That's silly.
What's wrong with silly?
Nothing, still talking to you, ain't I?
I like you.
Clara.
Oi, where are you going? I thought we was just getting acquainted.
Those were the days.
Don't get acquainted anymore.
It's the same story every time, and it always begins with the same 2 words.
She'll never be able to find me again. She doesn't even have the name Doctor. What 2 words?
Doctor? Doctor who?
Now a new
Entirely
intro.
new opening.
Yeah. It's a new era.
The veiled detective and her fatuous accomplice.
At your service.
You realize Dr. Doyle is almost certainly basing his fantastical tales on your own exploits, with a few choice alterations, of course. I doubt the readers of the Strand magazine would accept that the great detective is, in reality, a woman and her suspiciously intimate companion.
I
Meh.
resent your implication of impropriety.
It's the only thing they couldn't accept
We
in the
are
magazine.
Memory snow. Snow that learns.
How fascinating.
I hope it's listening to the right people. It could be a terrible weapon in the wrong hands, don't you think?
I think winter is coming.
Oh.
Such a winter as this world has never known. The last winter of humankind.
This 2012 Game of Thrones was still
You know
popular.
why I'm telling you all?
They've taken samples from snowmen all over London. What do you suppose they're doing in there?
The snow is new. Possibly alien. When you find something brand new in the world, something you've never seen before, what's the next thing you look for?
A grenade.
No.
A prophet. We'll need the worm.
Sir.
You'll need the what? The worm? What worm?
Don't worry, it won't hurt you, but one touch on your bare skin and you lose the last hour of your memory. Where is it?
Where's Watson?
I sent you to get the memory worm.
Did you? When? Who's he? What are we doing here? Look.
Well, it
It's been
works.
snowing.
You didn't use the gauntlets, did you?
Why would I need the gauntlets? Do you want?
Oi! Don't try to run away. Stay where you are.
Why would I run? I know what's going to happen next, and it's funny.
What's funny?
I can see it.
Ooh! Can you reach it? Have you got it?
Got what, sir?
There it
Because
goes.
these are the gauntlets, aren't they?
Sir, emergency! I think I've been run over by a cab.
There you go.
There.
One touch and you lose.
My snowman.
Ah, interesting. Well, were you thinking about it?
Yes.
Well, stop.
Meh.
Tara, stop thinking about the snowmen. Get down.
Eh.
Tara, imagine them melted. Picture it. Picture them melted.
Oh.
Merry Christmas. Take her back where we found her.
Sir.
Where was that? Good job.
Very clever.
He's very resourceful.
Oh, yeah. Whistling in a graveyard, always a good idea.
It might just be a park. But still. In the dead of night.
They usually don't put fences around parks.
Maybe they just haven't put the graveyard in yet.
By the way, if this is the 1890s, Silent Night is actually time appropriate. Composed about 1818, I think. Story goes that there was, I think it was a Swiss church, that their either their piano or their organ broke down and they needed something to sing. So the guy got out his guitar and just picked out the tune for Silent Night.
Invisible.
Yes, Spiral Staircase.
Staircase.
I had one in my production of Angel Street. Looked a lot like that, actually.
Ugh, jeez.
That's a nosebleed area. We've been up the lighthouse on the Outer Banks, about 175, 180 steps. You get very tired climbing that high. It's a leap of faith.
You just gotta remember that Jehovah starts with an I and you'll be okay.
Hello?
Pizza.
Candy Graham. Your doom.
Hello?
Good morning, Francesca. Good morning, Digby. Christmas Eve is the most thrilling day, don't you think? Now, what have you two been up to while I've been away?
I did 7 drawings, and we saw a dead cow.
Well,
Wow.
how exciting.
Do your secret voice.
Doctor!
Eh.
Doctor!
It's just
There then! That's enough noise.
it's Christmas. It's certainly to be a mad woman in the park at Christmas.
Do not attempt to escape, or you will be obliterated. May I take your coat?
You met the doctor, didn't you?
Yes.
And now you've come looking for him again. Why?
Take your time. One word only.
Eh. Help.
Curiosity.
He stands above this world and doesn't interfere in the affairs of its inhabitants. He is not your salvation, nor your protector. Do you understand what I am saying to you?
Words.
Ooh.
Give me a message for the doctor. Tell him all about the snow and what fresh danger you believe it presents. And above all, explain why he should help you. But do it in one word.
Oof.
That was pointless. What did she say? Well.
Pond.
Damn.
It's Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, yeah. Nice office. Big, globy thing. Now, shut up. Don't tell me. I see from your collar stud you have an apple tree and a wife with a limp. Am I right?
No.
Do you have a wife?
No.
Bit of a tree, bit of a wife. Some apples. Do you have a goldfish named Colin?
No.
Thought not.
Oh, we get to see if
I see
what he
this
would
is
be
one of
like
your
as
business
Sherlock.
cards. It says someone.
Must have a way now.
We are the intelligence.
Talking snow. I love new things.
You are not of this world.
Takes one to snow one. Let's see. Most open file. Most viewed page. You know, you really should delete your history. Governess frozen in pond. What are you doing here?
Madame Vastra wondered if you were needing any grenades.
Grenades?
I doubt she said that.
She might have said help.
Help for what?
Well, your investigation.
Investigation? Who says I'm investigating? Do you think I'm going to start investigating just because some bird smiles at me? Who do you think I am?
Sherlock Holmes.
Don't be clever, Strax. It doesn't suit you.
Doesn't wear a
Sorry,
hat
sir.
like this.
I'm the clever one. You're the potato one.
Yes, sir.
Now go away.
Yes. Mr. Holmes.
Oi! Shut up. You're not clever or funny, and you've got tiny little legs.
Suggest we melt his brain using projectile acid fish, then interrogate him. Other way round.
Yeah, there you go.
He lives on a cloud in the sky, and all he does, all day, every day, is to stop all the children in the world ever having bad dreams.
I've been having bad dreams.
He's been on holiday.
Yeah.
But I'm confident he has now returned to work, and as a matter of fact, he's right here. Aren't you, Doctor?
No.
Doctor? Doctor? Doctor Who?
Oh. Good job. Oh no. He's got a giant cheese machine that makes snow.
New setting, antifreeze, and you're very welcome, by the way.
I'm very grateful.
He thought of antifreeze. I doubt he's thought of wood, though.
Because I don't.
Who the devil are you? What are you doing in my house?
It's okay. I am your governess's gentleman friend, and we've just been upstairs kissing.
Captain Latimer!
He's out of practice on his lies.
The Snowmen! Good evening. I'm a lizard woman from the dawn of time, and this is my wife.
This dwelling is under attack. Remain calm, human scum.
So, any questions?
You have a gentleman friend?
That's the question you have?
Fashion, what's happening?
Oh, good job.
They made no attempt to conceal their arrival. An attack force would never abandon surprise so easily, and they're clearly in a defense formation.
Oh, aye, well done, Straxy. Still got it, buddy.
Sir, please do not noogie me during combat.
So there's something here they want.
If the snow gets hold of that creature on the stairs, it will learn to make more of them. It will build an army of ice.
Ice warriors.
And it will be the last day of humanity. Boy, I told you to stay in there.
Oh, I didn't listen.
You do that a lot.
Sorry, you like me?
Who said I like you?
I think you just did.
You kissed me.
You blushed.
And with just... Shut up.
If we'd been escaping, we'd be climbing down the building. If we'd been hiding, we'd be on the other side of the roof. But no, we're standing right here.
So?
So? After you.
After you.
After you. I'm wearing a dress eyes front, soldier.
My eyes are always front.
Mine on.
So, barmaid or governess, which is it?
That thing is after us and you want to chat.
Well, we can't chat after we've been horribly killed, can we?
It's a long way up.
Why so quick? You know, you're the same as all the rest. Sweet little Clara works for the Rose and Crown. Ideas about their station. Well, for your information, I'm not sweet on the inside, and I'm certainly not.
Oh, new set.
Look at it.
Go on, say it. Most people do.
Hold on, gotta do the runaround.
Smaller on the outside.
Okay? That is a first.
Is it magic?
I never know why. I only know who.
Always surprised it's not more of an old-fashioned, like, skeleton key.
Nah. It's the shed key from 1963.
Yeah.
Oh, dang it.
And how does he not recognize her from
Green woman
the
said she
Dalek
was
episode?
to be alive now.
This
I never saw
has
Oswin,
capacities
only
and
heard her
abilities.
voice.
So anything you're...
Ah, yes, straighten the bow tie.
I have in my hand a piece of the Ice Lady. Everything you need to know about how to make ice, people. Is that what you want?
Why is it in a box with the London Underground map on it?
That's just what he had.
I do not understand these markings.
A map of the London Underground, 1967. Key strategic weakness in metropolitan living, if you ask me. But then, I have never liked a tunnel.
What's wrong with Victorian values?
Are you sure?
I have always been sure.
Ah.
Good.
You fell for it, fool.
I feel him now.
Oh, good job.
Run, you clever boy. And remember, it's Christmas.
Christmas Day.
Merry Christmas.
Well, we can't be in much danger from a disembodied intelligence that thinks it can invade the world with snowmen.
Or that the London Underground is a key strategic weakness.
Yeah, good job on that.
The great intelligence rings a bell. Great intelligence.
It's a bell from a long time ago.
Doctor.
I never knew her name, her full name.
Oswin Oswald, Junior Entertainment Manager, Starship Alaska.
Souffle girl. I never saw her face the first time with the Daleks, but her voice.
Nah. I don't believe in ghosts.
Clara! Oswin! Oswald!
Watch me run.
Alrighty. Merry Christmas. Ugh, I'm getting this off my head.
Yes, I imagine it's quite warm.
Yeah. Ugh.
All right. Well, that was interesting. So she's one of those people who float through time.
Yes. So I said, we're starting up a new story and everything with this episode. It's technically a false start. Next episode, we're going to be really starting the next story of Clara. We just have to find the right Clara first. So.
Well, it's great to see Richard Grant again. Wasn't he the Scrooge in that abominable Christmas Carol that we watched from TBS? Or was that someone else?
Well, if you're thinking of the FX Christmas Carol, no, that was Guy Pearce.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure he has been a version of Scrooge at some point. That's the thing. You start saying, it's like, wasn't he in that one version of Christmas Carol? It's like, hang on. We've watched so many versions of Christmas Carol that I'm not sure. So.
And he's done quite a lot of other stuff too. But
yeah.
All right. You're right. That was Guy Pearce. It was. Let's not discuss that again, even though it's Christmas.
Yeah. So.
All right. So this is the third appearance of the Great Intelligence, because after the original one in the Himalayas, or was the original one in the London Underground?
Might have just been the London Underground. I don't remember. It was still Yetis, but I don't remember if he was in that episode in particular originally. So, but it is at the very least the return of the Great Intelligence. Yeah. Because I think somewhere in 2012 or so, maybe 2011, they found some of those lost episodes, so they decided to tie it in. Of course, there's honestly no reason for the Doctor to give the Great Intelligence the map of the London Underground. It's like, oh, these are key weaknesses, and it's like he just happened to have that tin, I guess, in the TARDIS, so.
Yeah, that struck me as odd, because when I finally saw that, I went, "Wait a minute, that's the map of the tube, basically."
Well, yeah.
And that brought me back to Second Doctor and the Yeti and everything. But yeah, why? It seems to me there would not have been a commemorative tin box with the map of the London Underground on it. But
it's a little clunky,
and literally nobody would have thought about that who hadn't seen the originals back in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, so it's tricky. I think when I originally watched this episode, I think we had watched The Web of Fear. I think that was in the tour of Classic Who, but I can't remember fully. So I think I did actually catch that. I was like, oh, it's the Great Intelligence back 50 years later. So just about 50 years later, so. But yeah.
But when they get into the late Victorian era, I keep thinking, is he going to run into himself with Victoria and the Daleks?
That would have been somewhere in Scotland.
Okay.
Well, and Victoria was not with the Daleks, that was with the werewolves.
Okay, but didn't he pick up a companion?
Oh, that Victoria. Yes. Sorry, I was thinking of a different episode with Tennant. And then, but yes,
the other Doctor, the one guy who thought he was the Doctor and wasn't the Doctor. When was that?
A different year, a different Christmas. But yes.
And then in 1842, he could have theoretically met up with the 10th Doctor and Charles Dickens.
The 9th Doctor. Yes. They come back here a lot, so...
not that I mind that. I mean, but it's just that they're getting to the point where all of these Doctors are going to intersect at some point, and you're going to have the 13 Doctors all together at one point.
Well, yeah, so... But yeah, you're right. I guess England is just big enough, and they keep going to different years at least, because this would be... this should have been 1892 when this took place, because it's 50 years after Simeon found the Snowman.
And then there's the Doctor and Queen Victoria herself.
Yes.
At the Torchwood Institute. Okay.
Yeah, that's with the werewolf.
Okay. Now the other thing, I really like Madame Vastra and Strax. It's interesting that they didn't think about just, at least for a 3 or 4 episode run of having them as the companions.
Yeah, they are a pop up every now and again group for a little while here, and it's interesting because obviously this is playing off of Demon's Run when we last saw them when they went to save Amy, but now they just exist in Victorian London and solve crimes, and their exploits are edited and put into the magazine. So,
Dr. Doyle.
Well, yeah. So,
I've always wanted to do a little bit of research on Conan Doyle and Dr. Bell, who was his mentor, I think, at the University of Edinburgh, because Doyle theoretically was Dr. Watson and Bell was Sherlock Holmes, and I think it would be interesting to have a story of Doyle and Bell doing something similar to what Watson and Holmes would do.
Oh yeah, so yeah, this is an interesting, again, almost like stopgap episode, because it's like it's important, but at the same time we're gonna have a different Clara, which that is a slight point of contention with Clara herself, is that a lot of people think, man, I wish we had just kept Victorian Clara. I don't know why they just needed to have modern day Clara, other than they just thought it would be more relatable to the audience.
Yeah. Well, we've run into this problem before, and we've talked about it. Some people who were not from whatever modern era the Doctor was in adapted very well, Jamie being the greatest example of that. Leela did the same thing with the 4th Doctor.
Oh, yeah.
But was it Victoria who finally got dropped off, with a couple by the seaside? Who was...
Yeah.
Okay. Because she couldn't do it anymore. She said, I can't do this. But this Clara from the Victorian era seems to be a very smart woman. Obviously very easily adapts to whatever the Doctor's doing, even though we later find out it's because she's somehow connected with Clara Oswald from the Dalek episode, because she keeps repeating, "You clever boy," and "Run, you clever boy," and "I make souffles," and all that sort of stuff. So, but yeah, she seemed to be adaptable enough that I think she could have, like Jamie, have come along very quickly, because she was very open-minded.
Yeah. So, there's also, and we'll get more into this as we see Clara 3. Clara Prime, I guess we can call her. Clara is another point of contention just because she's kind of a companion. You either love her or you hate her. I love Clara. I think she's a really good companion, and her in this episode is very indicative of the Clara we'll get moving forward.
Yeah.
I really like Clara. There are some writing choices later on where it's like, okay, I can kind of see where you might have a problem with that, but otherwise, no, I'm completely fine with Clara. And I want to point it out that yes, I am saying Clara, because it took me a little while. It took me a few episodes. I admit I was saying Clara for a while, and that's not right. Her name is Clara. However, it's better than some other YouTube channels. Some of them never adjusted to saying Clara and just said Clara the whole time. So
now the one thing, and again, it's not that I dislike it, but with Clara, we're, at least in this episode, starting out a possible rerun of the Rose connection.
Yes.
Because this Clara seems to really, really, really like the Doctor. I mean, to the point of, kissing him, and et cetera, which is not that much of a problem. But later down the line, when we know that all of these companions either die or get left behind, that's always a problem. So
yeah.
I'm hoping that when we get to Clara Prime or Clara 3.0, whatever it is, that does not remain a thing. But not that it would bother me, but yeah, I mean that just sets up a very tragic ending for her if that's the case, because he it's like you said, he's already lived 900 years. Look at all the people he's left behind, not just in the 60 years that we've been watching him, but I mean, think of all the other people, all the way back to the people he left behind on Gallifrey.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, he is still alone in the universe. There's no other Time Lords. Even the Master is dead at this point, again. But yeah, Clara's relationship with the Doctor is complicated. And here's the thing. We're going to have Clara for a long time. Almost as long as we had Amy and Rory, specifically. We're going to have Clara a long time. We're going to be talking about her relationship with the Doctor for a long time, and it's complicated, but I think there's a lot of interesting things in there.
Well, I mean, I know she goes on through the 12th Doctor, because in our tour we watched her with Capaldi on Mummy on the Orient Express.
Yes.
Does she doesn't last all the way up to Jodie Whittaker, does she?
No.
Okay.
But she does last a very long time, and that is something you have to take into consideration, because as I'm thinking about her relationship with the Doctor, it's like, okay, I have to consider two different Doctors, which was kind of the same with Rose. It's like her relationship with the 9th Doctor is different from her relationship with the 10th Doctor. Yeah. And very much the same kind of applies with 11 and 12. It's just it's complicated. Also because there's just such a drastic departure from 11 to 12 than there even was from 9 to 10.
Yeah.
So but yeah, but still a very interesting, good Christmas special. A little sad, a little sad. I mean, I know, when we watch the Sarah Jane Adventures and stuff, we talk about, the darker aspects, for the kids watching. But it's like this one, it's not even dark. It's just kind of sad, like half the time. I mean, first off, because you have the Doctor, who's still mourning Amy and Rory. He's a shut-in a box in the clouds. And it's just like he's gone away from everything. He's not wearing the bow tie. All he has as a reminder is he's wearing Amy's glasses that she was using to read at the beginning of last episode. And so that's his reminder of them. But he's clearly just not in a good spot right now.
Yeah.
And he has to be taken out of that. And just as he's taken out of that slump he's in by Clara, then she dies. So
now, touching on the darkness of some of the stuff that happened with Sarah Jane Adventures, in this, I actually thought the Snowmen were scarier than the Ice Woman.
Yeah.
And again, I realize the kids are watching this and they're going, "Oh, cool, scary snowmen," but they've probably seen The Nightmare Before Christmas or some of this other stuff.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I'm kind of disappointed at the ice creature. She did not look realistic. I mean, I don't know how to categorize that.
I forgot she was a vital part of the plot. I just didn't remember that at all. I was like, oh yeah, evil snowmen, and then the Great Intelligence, he's got some evil plan or something. I didn't remember that the ice creature was what they were supposed to evolve into to take over the world. And it's not that interesting. It's not that great. I think maybe because you're right that it doesn't look too realistic of ice. It very much looks like a CG ice creature.
Yeah.
But at the same time, because it's trying to reach that sort of realistic, human proportions and stuff, it just makes it so much worse. Whereas the snowmen, they're just snowmen. They're snowmen. They have giant teeth and they're getting ready to eat you. And that's about it. But that's enough. That's effective. It's the more, I guess, cartoonish it's supposed to look, the more unrealistic it wants to look, the better it works.
Yeah.
Whereas the Ice Woman, she's just an Ice Woman. I don't know, go kick her or something.
It strikes me that the money that they paid for the CGI, they could have done a motion capture. Because, I mean, and this is, again, what, 2012?
Yeah.
I would think motion capture was a thing by this point because, I mean, we've already seen Marvel movies have been around for 4 or 5 years already.
I mean, you had Marvel movies, you had Gollum in Lord of the Rings, and around this time they were doing The Hobbit, so you had Smaug and everything with that. But yeah, I think it was just I mean, there's always a debate on how much money does Doctor Who have?
Yeah.
How much money does the BBC give them? It's always more than they've ever had, and also a ham sandwich at the same time. That's what Doctor Who is for a good while, pretty much until like the 13th and 14th, 15th Doctor stuff, is when it's just like, okay, now they just have money. So, but yeah, here it's just like, I don't know if maybe they just didn't want to go that far or something, but yeah, that the Ice Woman is like the weakest part of the whole story. Yeah. Despite the fact that it's like it almost seems like all of the creativity of that just went into having it be in a pond so that you could work in the word pond, which dragged the Doctor out of the TARDIS. Yeah. So,
now, did this Clara understand that the word pond would get the Doctor? I mean, do we ever find out later on that she was manipulating the Doctor into doing this?
No. Okay. It wasn't, because you're right, it's like, why would there's the significance of the word pond, which is like, okay, the pond is here, and it's like, well, I guess what her thinking was, the Doctor will know, because they had the whole thing of, well, the snow is remembering, and if you pour your thoughts into the snow, it will become that thing. So, a pond that's been frozen over can create this ice creature, which is stronger. But she doesn't know the significance of the word pond being tied to Amy Pond.
Okay.
It's just the universe's greatest coincidence that there happened to be a pond in this, in this whole plot that would drag the Doctor out at this exact moment. So, yeah, it's there's just like a couple things in here where it's just like, okay, interesting. So, I don't know.
And, we always talk about foreshadowing. This actually was a great foreshadowing, having the worm at the beginning, setting up what appeared to be just a comic little bit to lighten the mood at the very beginning, and then we forget all about it until the very end, and he opens the box, and it's not a piece of the ice, it's the worm, which causes him to forget everything. So yeah. I thought that was very well done.
Yeah. Because I also thought at the beginning, like, I wonder if there's almost a darker implication of the Doctor having this memory worm suddenly, and it's like, I wonder if he goes through just horrible depression spells and then uses the memory worm to erase that from his own memory. And so I thought about that, and I was like, well, maybe I'm thinking too far into that. Maybe it's just a goofy way of having a goofy moment with Strax, But then it's brought in at the end. It's like, okay, well, at the very least, it's a clever, way to use that at the end, making Simeon forget everything about the Great Intelligence. So it works. But maybe you could find a darker implication in the memory worm. Yeah. So, at the very least, as dark as that could be, it's not so apparent as to depress the 5-year-olds that are watching this on Christmas Day, or the people that are sitting there barely watching over their food comas, So that is always the funniest thing. I don't know. I guess, it's fun. I always have fun imagining what it's like on Christmas Day watching these episodes, because I have to think about the rest of Christmas Day and how that has to pause so that people go watch Doctor Who, because it's like, because we have our own Christmas traditions and everything. We watch movies and stuff. Last Christmas I forced you to watch the Star Wars Holiday Special. I want to explain before you call the police on me, because specifically we had been watching Andor, We watched the first season, then we watched the second season, and then after that we watched Rogue One, because that goes right into it. And then after Rogue One, you gotta watch A New Hope. And then I said, hey, it's Christmas. How about after A New Hope, we watch the Star Wars Holiday Special? So there was a reason. I didn't just randomly decide to do that. It's all because of Andor. So we watched some of the greatest Star Wars in existence, Andor, and the worst Star Wars in existence, which is the Holiday Special. But it was hilarious and fun.
Although Phantom Menace is a close second.
It's pretty bad. But yeah. But I mean, and don't get me wrong, the Holiday Special is really boring. But if you get a group of people, it's hilarious. Especially because you recognized like half of the guest cameos from the 70s. So that made it all the funnier. So, anyhow. But we watch, we watch these movies and stuff like that. And, you have the big Christmas dinner, and you open the presents, and there's desserts, there's everything, and you sit down, and you just crash, and there's nothing else you gotta do, nothing else in the world. And so I'm trying to imagine that, but the British version of that, and then also taking into account Doctor Who, which also is how you have to sort of regard some of these Christmas specials when they're, like the last one we watched, The Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe, had nothing to do with anything. It was a good episode, but it had nothing to do with anything. It was just a nice, light, fun Christmas episode, because they kind of have to do that. They can't do such important episodes, and yet they kind of do. Because not only this one's starting this whole story with Clara, but the next one that we're going to do is really, really important, and I hope the kids stayed awake through their sugar comas and seeing all the. I'm just imagining like the end of Christmas Story, where like the little brothers are just passed out under the tree, and they're all just like sitting there like, oh geez, that was Christmas, huh? And it's just like, now try to watch an important plot important episode of Doctor Who. It's a bit of a struggle, I'm sure. So, and of course for me, I nowadays, because I'm caught up on Doctor Who, I don't even get to the Christmas specials until like, into the new year, because I'm on break. I'm not watching these live. So
one last little question here: when was Scream of the Shalka animated and released?
That would have been 2003, I think, because that technically lined up with the 40th anniversary of Doctor Who, and it was a time when there just was no Doctor Who. So I think that was 2003 as just a little thing. They hadn't started up the revival series with Russell T Davies or anything yet. So
now, was that broadcast on BBC?
No, I don't think so. That was strictly online, and I think that's why they did like. The animation specifically was like Flash animation, so it could be downloaded and viewed, very easily without buffering and slow down on 2003 internet in the UK.
Yeah, 2003 wasn't that great here either.
Yeah, so but there's a channel that does like a bunch of retrospectives on each Doctor, and I really do like the 8th Doctor one. Well, because it's partly the 8th Doctor and partly the Wilderness Years, as they've come to be known, and it goes over Scream of the Shalka, and they talk about how that came out like I think when they might have been in college, and so they would just go late at night. Maybe it was like raining that day. I mean, it's the UK, it was probably raining, but they go in to the library and just download the newest episode of Doctor Who. And did it suck? It wasn't great, but hey, it was new Doctor Who, and they had to take what they could get back in those days. So,
yeah, even when we moved into this house in '97, we still had dial-up. Yeah, you probably don't. Do you even vaguely remember the dial-up?
Not really, because I didn't use it too much back then. So, I was born in '97, by the way. So,
we didn't move into this house till '99. Sorry.
Yeah. So I am like I teeter on the edge of like I remember a lot of like the world before smartphones and everything, because I only got a smartphone when I was a sophomore in high school. and stuff, but I don't remember everything. I'm not that old to remember everything, but I've seen occasionally on Twitter someone will be like, so people who grow up before smartphones, like, what did you do? And I always just post a picture of the Nintendo DS. That's what I did. Because since 1989, Nintendo has been supplying portable game systems. And since 1985, they've just been providing game systems in general. That's what I did. What did you do when you were growing up?
We didn't have anything. It was the early 80s.
Well, I guess you had Doctor Who, so...
Yeah. But again, only through 66, because when we came back to the United States, Doctor Who didn't play here.
Oh, yeah.
I think we got our first Atari, would have been, I don't know, early 80s, early to mid 80s.
Oh, yeah.
I played that for a while. I didn't get a smartphone until I started teaching in Moore, which was in 2017, 2018, something like that. Because first of all, I didn't want a phone.
Yeah.
And the first phone that I got was the clamshell little thing.
I had one like that too. So,
but Mom insisted I get one after I had, I think, my first stent, because she was worried that if something happened to me, I'd need to be able to not have to, do all the texting.
Oh God, texting on those flip phones was a nightmare. So, anyone who had like one of the slide out keyboards, or I guess even a BlackBerry, back in the day when BlackBerry was a thing, they had texting easy, but then smartphones came out and that was the end of that. In sophomore year, I had the Samsung Galaxy S3. I played the crap out of that thing. I still have it too. I still have mine, and it is completely dead by now, and it is worn through, and it's so tiny now. So, but I played the ever-loving crap out of that thing. Well, also, even when I got a smartphone in high school, I still brought a portable game console with me. But then after that, I had the Galaxy S9, which I also wore through completely. Like, that screen was like completely broken by the time I sent it in, and that was mainly because I used to use it for filming. I don't anymore. I use a webcam. And then I got, just a couple years ago, I got this Google Pixel 7. This is the one they released right before AI became a thing, and it's been good. And I haven't worn through it yet because I'm not gaming and filming content on it all the time, so it's just a phone. I use like 4 apps on this thing now, so, and one of them is just Pokemon. So anywho, I guess that's it. Unless you got anything else. I just suddenly realized, like, oh yeah, Doctor Who. We were talking about that.
No, I'm looking forward to seeing the next episode. Again, so far, I really like Clara. I think she's interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, that is pretty much that. With all of that being said, we're Alex and Dad from 7th Hour Films, and we will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist with all of our modern Doctor Who reactions, as well as another playlist with every Doctor Who video that's on the channel. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.